Hey, what's up you guys, it's Caboose bringing you another Marvel's Avengers video, and today what we're going to be talking about is some new details that have surfaced regarding the Avengers game, some information about alternate costumes, some stuff that we're going to be talking about regarding microtransactions, and overall some information about some story beats that will take place after what we've seen with that A-Day demo that was finally released online, which is essentially the first mission, the tutorial mission of this game. Now, before we get into everything, I wanted to ask you guys, of course, if you could leave a like rating on the video as it shows your support, and I would really appreciate it. So if you could leave a like, that would be awesome. And with that said, well, let's get into this. So a lot of the information that I'm gathering here comes from Brian Shea, who wrote an article over on Game Informer, as they've had the chance to play the game at Gamescom, as well as get a ton of information regarding the game that we haven't yet heard before. They start off the article talking about the time that they got to play Avengers, and well, for the most part, it seems that they really enjoyed playing the game. They do have some reservations when it comes to certain characters. Specifically, they mentioned that they were underwhelmed with the Iron Man gameplay, and there was a bit of repetition in some of the combat, but overall, it seems that Brian here really enjoyed playing Marvel's Avengers and had a good time playing the game. I'm going to leave a link in the description to the article itself, so if you want, you can read it up and down. I just don't want to read the entire article verbatim and reiterate a lot of the things said in this article when you can go ahead and check it out yourself. So if you want to read this entire article and see Brian's overall thoughts on the game, you can absolutely do so. The link is going to be in the description. I'm just going to break down some of the key things that I had read here that I thought were worth noting. Starting off with the narrative and the overall story for Marvel's Avengers and some new details that we got there through this article. It was mentioned by Crystal Dynamics that they really want to reinvent these characters and they want to take the iconic heroes and reimagine them. And I think that's really cool. They obviously mentioned that that's what they did with Lara Croft in their recent Tomb Raider games, and those have found quite a bit of success. So clearly they have an idea of taking control of these iconic characters and reimagining them, but still keeping them intact to their core. You know, you recognize Captain America as Captain America. You recognize Thor like he's supposed to be, and so on and so forth. The characters are to their core the personality of the character that you will recognize, but they're still reinvented to fit the brand new world that they are creating within Marvel's Avengers. Then they go on to talk about A-Day and the disaster and some of the events that follow this. They mention, obviously, Captain America is lost in the disaster, and then Tony Stark withdraws himself from the world with no fortune or tech to fall back on. And apparently Tony Stark feels he no longer has the answers for what the team needs to do. Then it's mentioned that Bruce Banner sort of blames himself to the point where he's actually going to be stuck as the Hulk. Now that I am really intrigued in seeing how it will play out and how that is going to play out through the entirety of the story. There's also mention that Black Widow goes to her life as a spy, and then Thor thinks he isn't worthy anymore of holding Mjolnir, so he leaves it by the statue that is supposed to be this memorial for Captain America, and I believe we actually see that in one of the trailers for the game. And then we see that the hammer starts to shake, almost as if it's being summoned again, so maybe that's kind of the tease of the heroes being reassembled. As I mentioned in my video yesterday, AIM is sort of the acting antagonist for this game, and that entire organization has now taken control in protecting the world. They have a bunch of androids or robots that they have sent out there to fill the shoes that the Avengers once did when protecting the world from these threats, but they have a bit of a secret agenda, of course, as they are very much anti-superhero and they want to eliminate them, and that's where the Avengers come back into play, as they can't sit by and let that happen. Now, moving on to some gameplay details that we got a little bit of information regarding the single player and the co-op, and although it's stuff that we have technically heard before, we just have some slight additional information regarding the names of things and how exactly it's going to work. So it's mentioned in the article that there is going to be a war table that you go to, and you can choose between two different types of missions at that war table. There is Hero and Warzone. Hero missions are designed to be sort of the single player campaign where you can only play on your own, and there are set characters that you have to play as or locations that you have to be in order to play these missions and progress within the story. Then there's the Warzone missions, which I believe is mentioned you can still play on your own, but this is where online co-op comes into play. You can choose a character that you want, you can jump in and play with your friends, and I don't believe they can be playing as the same character as you, so that comes into play as well. And these missions are designed to be a little more open world. Now, I don't think it's going to be like you're going to get New York from Spider-Man PS4 sort of open world, but if you've played Destiny before, it might be similar to that, where you get a region that's relatively open world and there is some stuff to explore, but it's not going to be this massive area that you're going to be able to fly around and check out. It might just be a small location, and there will be multiple of those to play through these Warzone missions in. Then Brian mentions here that playing through either hero missions or Warzone missions unlocks you new content and grants you gear drops to equip on your character. Now, going into this article and getting a little more detail about this, it mentions that there are going to be specific gear drops that pertain to each character. So you can't really equip any gear piece you get to any character. You're going to get specific gear that will be for Iron Man or Captain America or Black Widow or Hulk, and so on and so forth. You can customize your character's skill trees, and they are going to have unique abilities that you can upgrade through these skill trees, which I'm sure is definitely going to be where you get a lot of creative freedom with how your Iron Man plays or how your Hulk plays. And no two Hulks that you run into online will play the exact same way through these skill trees. At least that's how I hope these will be varied. And then the article goes into as well explain the fact that there are going to be alternate costumes within the game. It mentioned that there was a King Thor, the Joe Fixit Hulk, which we have heard about before, and I've even seen and heard rumors regarding a War Machine type Iron Man costume and a more Ultimate Comics design Iron Man costume alongside the as well already confirmed original Sin Iron Man. So you're going to be able to unlock certain alternate costumes. However, it was mentioned to Brian here that there will be some costumes that you have to purchase. Now, they haven't gone into how that is going to work, and they haven't mentioned anything regarding microtransactions and how those are going to come into play. They will be in the game, and from what Crystal Dynamics and Square Enix is saying, anything that revolves around you paying additional money for Marvel's Avengers will be purely cosmetic. When it comes to DLC, new expansions, all that stuff, based on what they said all the way back at E3, that stuff will be 100% free. Now, I don't want to go crazy about this just yet. I don't want to lose my mind just yet, but I do want to keep an eye on this specifically, as it's something that can very easily be abused. If there's a healthy medium, there's a good amount of costumes that you can unlock and earn in-game versus costumes that you need to buy from the store, then I think that's okay. Considering that they want to release a ton of free content for the game, it needs to be funded somehow. Just so long as the prices aren't outrageous, and just so long as whatever they plan to release in a store that you have to purchase costumes from isn't abused, we're all good. Just give me a happy, healthy medium of costumes that I can unlock in the game and costumes that I would need to buy separately. But that's it. That's the video that I got for you guys today. Like I said, the full article is going to be linked in the description. Tons of new information here regarding the story mode and where our characters are left after the A-Day disaster. Some new information, of course, from the gameplay and the fact that you can not only customize the way your character looks through alternate costumes, but you can also customize the way that the character specifically plays through some of the skill trees and the gear that you unlock within the game. So all of this information sounds really promising. Again, this game sounds super ambitious, and I really cannot wait for May 2020 to roll around. We're going to get some more information and some more news from the game in October later this year. I'm assuming that's going to be for New York Comic Con, so you can keep it locked to this channel, and I will keep you guys up to date on all things Marvel's Avengers. And with that said, I'm now going to kick it to you guys. Let me know your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, if you could leave a like rating on it, it shows your support, and I would really appreciate it. I'm Caboose, and you can click on screen to make your way to one of the other videos on the channel, or you can click my logo to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Please follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and like me on Facebook. Those links are in the description. Drop a like if you enjoyed, leave a comment if you have an opinion, and subscribe if you're new. See you guys later.